most importantly, delegates and observers of this 30th, historic in many ways. It is here that we would reinvigorate our fighting spirit, gather together as that collective whole, united in the struggle for our people. Committed to the cause of social justice, it is here that we, the PPP family, would collectively charter the way forward. It is this 30th Congress that would ignite us against the struggles that confront us as a party. It is in this region, minutes away from these grounds, that our great leader, Dr. Chedi Jagan, was born. It is here that we recommit ourselves to the united struggle of Comrade Chedi Jagan and Comrade Janet Jagan, their great ideals, ideas, vision, and philosophy. It is also minutes away from here that their final journey in life was closed. But in our party, they would live forever. It is here that it is here that the soul of the struggle was born, and it is here that we would awaken ourselves in this 30th Congress to build a strategy that will secure the political and democratic future of Guyana. Comrades, I ask you to put your hands together for Comrade Janet and Chedi Jagan. We must resolve to guard against the threat that exists to our democracy and economic and social progress. As we see today, with the reckless and irresponsible position of the combined tyranny that exists in Parliament, a union between two identical forces with one common agenda, that is to destroy our party. But just as history would have it, many tried before. Many combined their forces before, but the fighting spirit of our membership, the vigilance and political consciousness of our membership withstood all of those threats, so that today we have inherited this strong, united party. Put your hands together for our party, comrades. Today, we will refuel the bones of battle, awaken our political responsibility, and reinvent ourselves in safeguarding and defeating all forces that seek to destroy this party and this family. Put your hands together for this family. We have committed ourselves to the working class, their struggles and their ambitions, and your party would never deviate from this commitment. Put your hands together for the working class people of our country. It is this 30th Congress. We must take time. We must take time to reflect on all those that led us to today, our great position. Our great leaders, Comrade Chedi Jagan, Janet Jagan, Ashton Chase, and Justin Hubbard, remain steadfast to the ideals of their dream for a progressive, democratic, and prosperous Guyana. We must also pay tribute to Comrade Samuel Hines, who led us in government when Comrade Chedi passed. And more recently, our immediate past president, Comrade Barrett Jagdale, who led us with great distinction. And today, comrades, we have yet another great leader in Comrade Donald Ramotar, who continues to advance Guyana's development. And I ask you at this point to stand and give a loud round of applause to these, our great leaders. As you remain standing, comrades, Let us give an outstanding applause for the leadership of Comrade Reed, well known as Pandit Reed, who has left us, and all our other great comrades who has led us to this strong and united position today. Thank you very much, comrades. Comrades, as we remember these great leaders, I want most importantly to thank you, the membership, the strength and source of our energy, the embodiment of our inspiration, and the fuel of the energy that the leadership possess. Put your hands together to the most important component of the party, the membership. I therefore, comrades, welcome you to this 30th Congress with great enthusiasm as we move forward, united in the struggle, committed to the cause. Long live the People's Progressive Party! Comrades, I would also this time wish to recognize the delegation from the Communist Party of China, a great friend of our party, and also a long and outstanding friend of the PPP, a senator for 23 years, and one of the most admirable trade union leader in Grenada, Comrade Chester Humphrey. At this time, comrades, I would like to call the wonderful voices that exist within the PPP to join at the podium as we sing our national anthem.
Members of the WPO and other comrades from the region to the garlanding of our leaders. Take us some song.
All right, comrades, as I told you, we are gathered at this 30th Congress. It's a very historic Congress. And you'll have heard the call for the hydro. This is just to emphasize how important it is for our country and our people. I would like at this time to introduce Comrade Vishwa Mahadev, who is the party chairman for this region, to give you the official welcoming remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Irfan. Comrade General Secretary and President of our Republic, members of the Executive and Central Committee of the PPP, foreign delegates and members of the Diplomatic Corps, special invitees including our Prime Minister and Ministers of Government, representatives of GAU and RPA, the WPO and PYO. And most importantly, my dear comrade delegates and observers, it is a pleasant task of mine to welcome all of you to this, the 30th Congress of the People's Progressive Party. I welcome and greet you on behalf of the party's regional committee and all party members of Region 6 East Berbice Quarantine, and also on my own behalf. The members of the WPO and PYO of Region 6 also extend a warm welcome to all of you. Region 6 has the distinction of being the second largest geographic region in Guyana, and is the region with the second largest population of our country. Economically, Region 6 is agriculturally based with sugar and rice production. It's also livestock raising, fishing, and cash crop activities. Besides sugar and rice, the industrial sector also includes bauxite, mining, sawmilling, and other enterprises. Workers and farmers make up the bulk of Region 6's population. There is also a thriving, sizable business community. Comrades, Congress, as you know, all Congresses are milestones in the life of any party. With this in mind, our local Congress committee, together with the National Congress Committee, has worked hard to ensure that the physical preparations and conditions are conducive for a fruitful discussion. Recall, comrades, the 27th Congress was held in Berbice at this very location. That Congress was violently attacked by terrorists, obviously with a political agenda. Today, comrades, we remember that violent night when our comrade from Essequibo was cold-bloodedly murdered and others injured. Although it disturbed our peace of mind, it also strengthened our desire to defeat such terrorists. That attack did not stop our Congress, nor did it disrupt our work in the interest of our nation and our people. I am aware, comrades, that among you there may be many who are attending PPP Congress for the first time. For the first-timers, allow me to extend a fraternal embrace and a special welcome. A special coastland welcome is extended to our comrades from the interior, comrades from Region 9, from Region 8, from Region 7, from Region 1, and Region 10. Our region has certain distinctive features. Roughly a mile from where we are meeting is the birthplace of Comrade Chedi Jagan, founder of the PPP and father of the nation. A mile away is Babu John and the shrine that is dedicated to the memory of Dr. Jagan and also his spouse Janet Jagan, who in her own right has a place in our party's history as well as a place in the nation's history. We also have the monument dedicated to the ballot box martyrs, about 25 miles away. You're all invited to visit these sites and take a piece of Berbice back with you in your hearts, if the tight agenda of Congress will allow. Under the PPC government, Berbice has come out of the period of decline, stagnation, and discriminatory practices that it inherited. Signs of development are everywhere. You would have crossed the Berbice River Bridge to come here. The Tain campus of the University of Guyana is in Berbice. There are better roads and streets. Social services and amenities like water, education, health, and electricity services are improving. There is vibrancy in the business community, and generally life has improved qualitatively. This is a significant year for Guyana and for the PPP, significant in many ways. This year, we celebrated the 60th anniversary of the Women's Progressive Organization, the 61st anniversary of the PYO, and the 63rd anniversary of our party. In this significant year, we are hosting the 30th Congress of the People's Progressive Party, the party of the working class, the party of heroes, the party of great Berbicians like Carl Douglas, Muntaz Ali, Budram Mahadev, Pyari Lal, Molai, Ramcharan, and Ramgahan, and of course, Chedi Jagan, who was born in Berbice. The PPP in its great history has stood by the masses in good times and under adverse conditions. It has led us from one victory to another. As members of the People's Progressive Party, we have been schooled in the political and ideological teachings of Comrade Chedi Jagan and other leaders. Kamacheri's vision to politically transform our Guyanese society to a socially and economically just one is still relevant, and one which our Congress, I'm sure, will uphold. We could do no less. Comrades, together we could give life to the ideals that guided our party thus far. Together we can make the dream of Dr. Chagan for socio-economic changes come through. Comrades, this year is also significant because the opposition has exposed its true nature. That is, the APNU and the AFC are the same. They are both predators under different names, trying to devour the hydroelectricity project, the Chedijagan International Airport project, the specialty hospital, and the livelihoods of Guyanese people, especially the poor and vulnerable. Significant also because of the vicious attacks by the opposition and workers of our beloved Guyana. Comrades, finally, this year is significant because we have a non-functional parliament where the combined opposition uses every opportunity to try to humiliate us. Many have said that Berbice is the heartland of the PPP, and there is more than a grain of truth in that observation. Perhaps that is the reason why every fly-by-night political organization that comes up pays special attention to Berbice, seeking to weaken and replace the PPP's strong historic influence and support in Berbice. The fight to regain full control in Parliament must begin now. Comrades, the place is here in Berbice. Comrades, the time is now. This 30th Congress marks the time when we begin the fight to take back control. Let us strengthen the party, build unity, and advance democracy. Long live the 30th Congress of the PPP.
Thank you very much. Comrades, we now come to a very important part of the agenda where we reflect and we salute our fallen comrades, comrades who would have given their lives to this wonderful party. I now call on Comrade Clinton Collymore to take us through this.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Comrade General Secretary and President of Guyana, Donald Ramotar, esteemed former President of Guyana, Dr. Barab Jagdeo, distinguished invitees and friends of the People's Progressive Party, members of the Diplomatic Corps, honored delegates and observers. It has come to me to perform the solemn duty of indicating homage to those who gave their lives for the People's Progressive Party, and by that token, the people of Guyana. They served with distinction, and they have passed on, leaving their homage and their deeds for us to recognize and emulate. I call the names in relation to the regions where they existed and where they did their duties. Region 1, Bortram Lakna from Yarakita. Consortima Figueredo from Yarakita. Aloysius Moses from Yarakita. Philbert Mendonza from Yarakita. Joseph Nunes from Aruca. Diane Prasad from Mabaruma. Aret Sili from Komaka, Mabaruma. Region 2, Yadunat from Aurora, Essequibo. Francis Ramnat from Pomona, Essequibo. Ramsaran from Affiance, Essequibo. Udit from Affiance, Essequibo. Leslie Cinnamon from Cottonfield, Essequibo. Mohan Charan from Anna Regina, Essequibo. Diona Ryan from Richmond, Essequibo. Sukdeo Mohan from Lima, Essequibo. Kandi from Sparta, Essequibo. Chetram from Devonshire Castle, Essequibo. Annette Williams from Akiwini Esquibo, Lionel Durga from Akiwini Esquibo, Chunilal Ramnath from Lower Port Mourant Esquibo, Ramnarain Ramgovin from Charity Esquibo, Victor William from Strong Hope Esquibo, Regina Fredericks from Wakapo Esquibo, Ellen Fredericks from Wakapo Esquibo, Chabinot from Reliance Esquibo, Hauda Prasad from Columbia Esquibo. I move now to Region 3. Buji from Bidanoop, Pariak Sukai from Anna Regina, Anna Katrina, Tana from Vietnam, Patrick Subrim from Canal number 2 Polar, Soman Bukram from Good Fortune, Majid from Canal number 2 Polar, Man Prasad from Z-Board and the William, Sarju Rajpat, Bellevue, Raymond Wong from Lagrange, West Coast Demerara, Permanent Sukraj, Lagrange, West Coast Demerara, Usman Ali of Lagrange, West Coast Demerara. Region 4, Janet Jagan of Bel Air. And come as I wish to say that she taught me everything political. My political status today is due to Janet Jagan. We put a man Prasad. He has also been instrumental in molding me into what I am. He is my guru, the late departed person. Premchand Das, Richard Eccles, East Bank Demerara. Razina Razak, Better Hope. T.R. Ramotar, Ogle. Patricia Pompey, Cummins Lodge. Silochni Sukai, Working Rust. Patrick Jaikaran, Eccles. Danny Ram, Helena Michael, East Coast Demerara. Harry Kaulesar, called Baiji, Chatavon, East Coast Demerara. David Prasad, called Blue Flame, Supply, Belmont. S. Khan of Success. Morris Cole of Buxton. Ishwar Dayal Samaru, called Salo of Providence. Shairun Singh of Good Faith, Maikoni. Neville Wordsworth, Good Faith, Maikoni. Ganesh Prasad, Shieldstone. Mohammed Ishak, Shieldstone. Jonath Sukdeo, Bushlot. Totaram Prasad, Shieldstone. Chandradat Ramcharan, called Cecil, Cumberland Village. Puran Mulai, number 72 Village. I'm moving on to Region 6. I just read Region 5. Puran Mulai, number 72 Village, Region 6. John Gokul, number 79 Village. Carl Douglas, number 55 Village. Newborn Pompey, Kiltane Eversham. Rifle, his real name is Devendranath, but everybody knows him as Rifle. Mina Ramdas, Dr. Kenny. Move on to Region 9. Giles George of Napi. Clement Joseph of Pottery. Walton Brong of Anai. Rickford Daniels, Quatamang. Margaret Jacobs, Anai. Christopher Christian, Tiger Pond. Joseph David, Katunurib. Tarshia for Nambuko, Shia. Gabriel of Kwakwani Park. Ari Bishop of Linden. Johnson of Bloomfield, Winard Street, Linden. Bacchus, Arvida Avenue. Those names are for Region 10. And I've come to the end of my list. We have not received any indication of any death of any party comrade in Region 7 or Region 8. And I want to say that we are deeply grateful to Providence for that. Thank you. Permit me therefore to ask you, as a sign of solemnity, to stand for 1 minute.
Various issues of interest to our party during this 30th Congress, I would like us to remember on this special occasion our founding fathers and mothers of the PPP and its precursor, the Political Affairs Committee, and those who joined them in the long, dangerous, and difficult years of struggle. Many of the stalwarts are no longer with us, and we number among them Dr. Cherry Jagan, of course, Mrs. Janet Jagan, of course, Sasha, Mr. Boise Ramkaran, late departed Pandit Ripudaman Prasad, and many others who Comrade Collymore honored earlier. These departed comrades served our party and our country well. The PPP, however, is a vital force that is not static and nor is it stagnant, but is an ever-evolving institution with new blood taking the challenges to continue to strengthen our support base. And here, I would like to welcome all those young people who are making a difference in the country from the platform of the PPP. Comrades, as all of you know, the RPA and the PPP share a long history going back to the RPA's formation in 1946. And during the course of our development, Dr. Cherry Jagan served in the RPA in the capacity of president after he became a member of the RPA by virtue of the late General Secretary Pariak Sukai giving him a few acres of land over on the west coast of Demerara so that he could have qualified to become a member of the Rice Producers Association. Comrades, government has achieved a remarkable, since the accession of the PPP to the administrative levels of the Guyanese nation, the PPP government has achieved a remarkable turnaround of Guyana's social development and economic growth since 1992. Every sector has been catalyzed through transformative process that took our country from an international rating on development graphs as lower or on par with Haiti. But today, we are ranked as a middle-income country. Our macroeconomic fundamentals have been stabilized, and major financing and other international bodies are lauding our prudent fiscal management, which has achieved sustained growth rating, Millennium Development Goal in food security, Millennium Development growth in primary education, and we are like a runaway train to progress. And this trajectory has been sustained even in the face of a global economic crisis and an opposition that seems hell-bent to stymie and even cause retrogression in all the gains we have made. Comrades, under the leadership of the PPP civic administration, the rights sector has been breaking records since 2009. And I think Dr. Leslie Ramsamy has predicted that 2013 will be another record year. More importantly, there is a renewed commitment from farmers across the country who are encouraged to intensify their efforts in rice farming as a direct result of the favorable conditions for production made possible by the PPP civic government. Today, in the face of an unfavorable political situation, especially in the parliament, the RPA called on all party comrades to renew that vow to strengthen the party, build unity, and advance democracy, as together we march towards achievement of Dr. Cherry Jagan's dream, that is, attainment of peace, progress, and prosperity as a united Guyanese nation. Best wishes for a successful 30th Congress. Long live the People's Progressive Party. Thank you.
Comrades, it is now my pleasure to invite Comrade Indra Chandapal to bring greetings on behalf of the Women's Progressive Organization.
Comrade former General Secretary and President of Guyana and First Lady, former President of Guyana, former Prime Minister, Ministers of Government, members of the Central Committee of the PPP, WPO, and PYO, representatives of fraternal organizations, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, delegates, and observers. I bring you warm and fraternal greetings from the Women's Progressive Organization on the occasion of the 30th anniversary Congress of our party, a party that has a glorious past filled with periods of heroism, sacrifice, and commitment to the struggles of the Guyanese people. It is a party that has nurtured tens of thousands of cadres, has witnessed periods of intense struggle against the enemies of the people, has experienced strong disagreements and even defections from the party, but like the proverbial phoenix, keep rising again and again. It is a party that has brought about the transformation of Guyana from an impoverished state to one that all Guyanese can be proud of. The theme of this 30th Congress, Strengthen the Party, Build Unity, Advance Democracy, speaks to a set of crucial tasks for all of us who are members of the PPP, WPO, and PYO. We have had some challenging moments within recent times, but these are expected in the ebb and flow of political life. Those of us who use dialectics as a tool understand fully that everything is in motion and there is no certainty about anything. An occasion such as this Congress serves to remind us of the commitment we have made to our party and the ideals we believe in. Let us use this occasion to recognize the indomitable contributions of our leaders, who not only built a party, which is still the only progressive political party in the country, but who have instilled in its members the revolutionary zeal and fervor that has kept them going. Long live the memory of Chetty and Janet Jagan. Their lives and example must serve to inspire us all, especially in the challenging times. The history of the PPP is one that is grounded in the struggles of the working class and the masses of people. On June 16th, we observed the 65th anniversary of the NMO martyrs. On the 16th of July, the 40th anniversary of the killing of the ballot box martyrs. And on July 17th, we observed the 49th anniversary of the death of Michael Ford and our very own Kausilia, who was killed in 1964. All these events that I have referred to are events in which these brave comrades paid the ultimate price with their lives for the noble cause championed by our party. The actions of those comrades at those times represent the type of response to the oppressors, which should continue to be the standard required in the building of our revolutionary consciousness and actions and our members based on a cause and purpose to live and die for. The theme of this Congress, Strengthen the Party, Build Unity, Advance Democracy, recognizes the reality in which we operate. Without a strong and united party, we will not be able to provide the leadership which is required to advance democracy and to continue to improve the lives of the Guyanese people. It is useful to recall the sentiments of our late leader, Dr. Chetty Jagan, when he addressed the Congress in 1994, which was the last before he died, when he said, and I quote, "Our national democratic state is based on the partnership of all classes and strata, committed to political democracy and social justice. It unites the workers, peasants, farmers, businessmen, professionals, and intelligentsia in a broad alliance which allows for the satisfaction of the interests of these various groups. It prevents the dominance of any class or strata and in turn protects each from being crushed. The rebuilding of Guyana requires that all the human resources within the country be allowed to flourish and make their varied contributions. Our policy on national democracy re-emphasizes our party's commitment to protect the working people and the broad masses of Guyana. It allows for the healthy growth of the capitalist sector, but aims to prevent an unbridled private sector development in which the interests and welfare of people in general, and the local businessmen in particular, are stifled by monopolistic sectors, end of quote. Some may question that relevance, but I would like to posit that all of us in the party, and even non-party members, must always look to the future ahead of us, a future of great promise that we can help to create only if we can redouble our revolutionary fervor. It is the passion and commitment to cause which requires us to remove negative attitudes of complacency and lethargy, and to work with great vigor, dedication, and commitment. Our country is on the verge of a great takeoff, and it is our responsibility to do all that is required to advance the process. The recent position of the joint opposition in blocking the much-needed support for the modernization of our country is indeed a travesty. Hydropower has a genesis going back to nearly 50 years ago, and never before was it as achievable as it is now, and it is therefore tragic for the joint opposition to adopt such an unpatriotic stance. Comrades and friends, we in the WPO, in this year of our 60th anniversary, wish to reaffirm our commitment to the party. We applaud the achievements made by government in carrying out the manifesto promises made by the party in its quest to improve and advance the conditions under which the people of Guyana live. We are proud of the very many achievements made by the government.
Comrades all, I bring greetings to this historic 30th Congress of the greatest political party this country has ever known. I bring greetings on behalf of the Progressive Youth Organization, the youth arm of your great party. The PYO stood with our party during the horrid days of the anti-dictatorship struggle. We stood with our party through glorious periods of the past 20 years, and today we pledge to stand by our party as it defends the nation against the anti-development forces that masquerade as the opposition in our country. We all know that over the past 20 years, the PPP brought about the Guyana miracle. It took a ramshackle economy and transformed it into the fastest growing economy in the Caribbean, with an unprecedented growth for the 7 successive years. It removed from the present and future generations that onerous burden of debt which it inherited. It has transformed the economy of Guyana, built economic resilience, and brought about breathtaking social, economic progress, while entrenching and deepening the democratic process to which our party has long been committed. We stand in defense of our party, in defense of our government, and in defense of our country. We reject those who would take us down that acrimonious road of division and who intend, for their own selfish interests, to curtail the principal developmental projects to which the future of our people are tied. The Progressive Youth Organization pledges to be both vigilant and militant, always being on the lookout for the saboteurs of economic progress and to advocate for growth and continued progress. The Progressive Youth Organization, while in opposition, was the most dynamic, vocal, and active youth group in Guyana. Many of you sitting in this audience belonged to that organization during the heydays. However, after 2 decades of being in the ascendancy, a sense of complacency obviously crept into our ranks. A complacency that nearly pushed us into irrelevancy. However, the elections of 2011 showed everyone the importance of the youth, and also showed the youth that it's time for them to take on their responsibilities. President Ramotar recognized this fact and the need for the PPP to engage our youth. He saw the opportunity for the PYO to become the catalyst for a new engagement with our young people. Through the mandate given to us by His Excellency and the party leadership, the PYO has, over the past year, rejuvenated itself. We actively assisted in continuous registration process. We have gone door to door, house to house, trying to inform and mobilize our people and our youth to defend our country from the anti-progressive enemies. We have recaptured the spirit of voluntarism and activism and reached back into the communities to perform voluntary work and community building tasks. We have started a reconnection with the people in our communities, those same people who are the real reason for our existence as an activist youth group. We have done so in an attempt to regain the credibility of the PYO working for the people, the vast majority of whom are working class people. Most importantly, we have done so with the help and the guidance and the encouragement of all of our stalwarts.
As a proud member of the PPP, who, like many of you, worked tirelessly to build and strengthen this party so that we can create a better future for our children, grandchildren, and the future generations. And while I, like you, live in hope and dream of peace, never forget where we have come from and the dark specter of the past, where all of us, Amerindians, Africans, Indians, Portuguese, Chinese, and everything else in between, were shackled in and abused. We are meeting in this year full of significant anniversaries of our people's struggles and sacrifices. The 250th anniversary of the Berbice slave uprising, the 190th anniversary of the Demerara uprising, the 175th anniversary of the arrival of indentured laborers from India, the 175th anniversary of the final abolition of slavery, the 100th anniversary of the Rose Hall Rebellion, not very far from here, the 65th anniversary of the Enmore martyrs, and the 40th anniversary of our ballot box heroes. These struggles are our history. They have marked our character, distinguish us as a people and a nation. Speaking of sacrifice, let us not forget Comrade Balaram Kanai, who was murdered here 11 years ago at our 27th Congress. As a father, I cannot even begin to contemplate the terrible pain of his family that the years since will have done nothing to erase. While time will help to dull the pain, no amount of speeches and no amount of condolences will ever fill the space in his family. But let us please honor that loss and grieve with his family. Even though his sacrifice was extreme, it was not solitary, nor was it in vain. In the 11 years since he left us, much has been achieved. We have worked tirelessly to build our democracy, grow our economy, and give the people of Guyana the opportunities they deserve. The effects of our programs can be felt across the whole of our country. We have achieved economic growth and wealth creation that is the envy of many countries. And we will continue to exert ourselves to improve on those performances. We have invested in our hospitals, in our roads, in our schools, and in our people. And we will continue to leave no stone unturned to provide more of these vital physical and social infrastructures so indispensable to advance Guyana and to lift the quality of life of our people. This investment has made a huge positive difference in the lives of all our people. directly and indirectly. Comrades, there have been visible improvements in our country's landscape, and you can attest to these changes. The Takatu Bridge to Brazil, the Berbice Harbour Bridge, have both been completed and are now operational. New and resurfaced highways and roadways have been completed or are under construction from New Amsterdam to Molson Creek, in the Blackbush Polder, in East and West Kanji, on the east coast of Demerara, from Better Hope to Belfield, and on the east bank of Demerara, from Providence to Diamond. Major road upgrades will commence shortly on the west coast of Demerara, from Wiedenhoek to Hydroni, and on the east bank of Berbice, from Stanleyton to Everton. Community roads have been rehabilitated in most every village throughout our coast. In fact, we have too few contractors and need more to execute all our roadworks that we have. Our stellings have been upgraded at Parika and Supanam, and new ferries introduced on the Parika to Supanam route, reducing travel time vastly while enhancing the comfort of our commuters. And we are working to have a ferry, a new ferry, to ply the Georgetown-Mabaruma route. A new airport with an extended runway is under development at Timeri, and a second international airport has been brought into operation at Ogle. Indeed, the Ogle International Airport runway has been extended and improved, and the first international commercial flights landed just recently, a promising preview of many more such arrivals, and will bring our country tourism, investment, and I very much hope new friends. In addition, preparatory work is being done in the development of the new bridge across the Demerara River, and on a second entrance into Georgetown from Diamond, to ease the evident congestion that has arisen from the rapid development of the east bank of Demerara corridor. Only 2 nights ago, a large amount of Guyanese could not make it in time to the stadium to see a beautiful opening of that match when I drove the ball through the covers. In social infrastructure, new schools and dormitories have been built at Mabaruma, Aurora, Parika, Diamond, number 8 village in the West Berbice, number 79 village in Paramakatoy and Surama. New hospitals and health facilities have been commissioned at Georgetown, Linden, Mabaruma, and Latem. There are new national ophthalmology hospital at Port Mourant and new diagnostic and treatment centers at Suddy, Lenora, Diamond, and Baikoni. Water treatment plants have been constructed at Lima, Virgin Union, Cotton Tree, Sophia, number 56 village, and Queenstown, Berbice. Water wells have been sunk at Hague, Somerset, Parfaith Harmony, Tushin, Diamond, Manchester, number 47 village, and Rose Hall. And let us not forget the tens of thousands of new house lots that have been and are being developed across the country in places of Diamond and Grove. Affordable ownership, including extension of tax breaks to people paying interest to low and middle income housing loans. Since 2008, an additional 28,474 lots have been distributed 236 core homes and 80 turnkey houses have been constructed. Indeed, since we first came to power, over 100,000 house lots have been distributed to the Guyanese people, bringing home ownership within the reach of almost every single Guyanese family. In the electricity sector, 2 new power plants have been commissioned at Kingston, along with substations at Vredenhoop, Edinburgh and Kingston. An upgraded transmission and distribution system was commissioned from Kingston to Sophia. Submarine cables have been laid from Kingston to Vredenhoop and from Vredenhoop to Edinburgh and Canefield to number 53 village, and are also under construction from Georgetown to Unverwack. In addition, under the ambitious hinterland electrification system, 12,351 solar panels have been distributed to households in the interior, bringing electricity to those homes for the first time. Now, amongst all of those numbers and names, it is easy to get lost in the progress. And whilst we are proud of the projects we have completed so far, we must never forget what all the hard work is for. And I say to you, comrades, as a member of the PPP, as a proud Guyanese man, and as a family man, all our hard work is for you, the people, the families and the children and future children of Guyana. Every project I talk of today is directed for that. All the sweat, the frustrations, the efforts that have gone into making these things happen is for the sole purpose of making a better life for the people of Guyana and to make sure there is a brighter future for our country. Brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, we must never forget what our work is for, and it is for you and your families. Again, as a family man, I have been lucky to have a wonderful partner for 39 years. I think she needs congratulations to bear up with my own frustrations and my own anger, many often, as we struggle along, to first of all, to end the dictatorship and to build our country. I am also lucky to have 3 wonderful children, fully committed to securing a better life for all the future generations of Guyanese. I am committed to securing a better health care, better schools, better jobs, better transportation, and security to all our families. This is my dream, and we, as the PPP, will do everything in our power to make this dream a reality. But let me get you to pause for a moment to briefly recall what things were like. Not so long ago, in the pre-1992 days, our teachers hardly had chalk to use in the schools. Our medical services were abysmal. Shortages of drugs, shortage of housing that led to overcrowding was the order of the day, particularly in urban areas. Shortage of electricity led to blackouts. We're still having some blackouts, but nothing like what we had when people used to scream after being in darkness for 2 weeks when they get lights. Recall too the long lines for very basic food items and the galloping inflation that eroded workers' wages. These great changes are often overlooked as we mature into a more developed nation. But every now and then, we should reflect on how far we have come as a blossoming country on the crux of much greater things. Our achievement at home is also reflected in our international achievements. Many of them brought about thanks to the assistance and cooperation of many international partners, some representatives sitting right here today. First of all, we have made great strides in improving the relations with our neighbors in Brazil, Suriname, and Venezuela. As many of you know, it was under the PPP administration that the Guyana-Brazil bridge was negotiated and brought into fruition, and we are now seeking to do the same with Suriname. Our relations with Brazil continues to strengthen through the current negotiations over development of the Deepwater Harbor, a Guyana-Brazil road, and the development of cheap energy. And we must also remember that our relationship with Venezuela has come a far way, and for that we must thank late President Chavez for his efforts in improving our relations. And that has been deepened by our work in Petro-Caribe and our trading arrangements with Venezuela. Indeed, just this past month, we joined Mercosur as an associate member, paving the way for greater partnership with our South American neighbors and linking us to some of the biggest and fastest growing economies in the world. Further afield, it was just a few weeks ago that our achievements were recognized by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, which awarded us, and I mean all of us, I mean every single individual in this country, for achieving the first Millennium Development Goals 3 years ahead of schedule. The fact that we are also one of the 17 countries in the world that have not only reduced poverty, but increased nutrition to our people was also recognized by the United Nations. Over this period, the democracy we sacrificed so much for has been reinforced. It's still at the heart of our many achievements internally and externally. It is now not just about elections, but of people's involvement, accountability, and transparency. From standing committees that invite government ministers and senior public servants to present and explain their work, to more robust initiatives to encourage debate, we have built a thriving democracy. Yes, we have achieved much in recent times, but also much has changed. On my way here today, I was reflecting on the changes since our last meeting 5 years ago in Diamond on the east bank of the Marara. At that time, we had secured the second largest victory in our history, and as a party were faced with a political landscape more stable, constructive, and united than it is today. 5 years ago, Guyana's external debt had declined by 46%. We had just received EU support to reform the sugar industry. We were reporting our highest export of rice in 10 years. We had signed a security agreement with Brazil to develop that sector and had successfully sold off some non-performing government assets. 5 years ago, we were forging ahead with plans and ideas to move Guyana forward as a developing nation. These plans remain in place, and as always spring from the moral foundations established by our own party from its inception with Comrade Cherry Jagan at the head, whose legacy is very much evident today in this hall. His principles of social justice, of hard work and labor, of a unity in the face of division, and of investment in the people of Guyana are and have been and will always be what this party is all about. As the People's Progressive Party, we have a duty to fight for these principles and never to relent, even in the face of an uncompromising and uncomprehending opposition. I make this personal commitment that I, as President and Head of State, will not relent. And as General Secretary of your party, I commit you, members of the PPP, to never ever relent either. We cannot afford to do so because we strive for the people, and in their dream, and it is their dreams that we are elected to protect, foster, and realize. We will press forward. But we do face challenges. And in the face of those challenges, we must be resolute. We must not allow those who seek to reduce our parliament to a farce and impede our efforts to invest in our future to win. For what they fail to see is that every time they pat themselves on the back for supposedly embarrassing the government, it is in fact a defeat for the brighter future they claim to want for our people. For the progress that we have made is not invincible. It is not irreversible. It has to be defended every day. It must be reinforced and pushed yet further. It relies on investing in our people, and it is this investment that has come under threat by the opposition's nonsensical stance that growth can be achieved by cutting investment. In fact, their plans have nothing to do with growth and everything to do with cutting the PPP's nose to spite the face of all of Guyana. Since 2011, the opposition has sought to continually block our proposals. They tried to denigrate our ideals and attempt to use Parliament to block social and economic progress. They voted to cut the 2012 budget, most areas that affect people's lives. They voted down contract workers. They voted down solar panel projects for people in the interior, stopping Amerindian communities from enjoying basic services to which all our peoples are entitled. They voted down the Amerindian land titling, stopping people in those communities from developing their own projects and creating their own wealth. In fact, they have voted down pretty much everything they can find that is ambitious, planned, and good for the people of Guyana. Indeed, the opposition have made it abundantly clear that they do not care about the people of Guyana as a whole, or even the people who supported them. This was most deplorably demonstrated last year in Linden, where they conspired to foster disruptions and unrest and impacted that community in a hugely negative way on the life and businesses of their supposed constituents. The death that occurred there was a tragedy, and all of us, and my heart goes out to their families. Like the Kanai family, they deserve our thoughts and our sympathy. This year, they have continued to demonstrate that they are unfit to lead our nation. With Minister Singh having developed a budget that could have boosted the economy, creating thousands of new jobs, and put in place the building blocks for the future of Guyana, the opposition again stalled Parliament and put the brakes on development by cutting $31 billion out of the budget. I understand and sympathize with many Guyanese I meet who daily come up and tell me, Mr. President, Parliament not walking by, Parliament messing up things, and that is relating to some of the less colorful languages that I've heard from them. This is a serious issue. In fact, it is a wound on the body politics of our nation. It is a wound, and one that is festering and reopening every time a sensible, moral, and costed development project is stalled because the opposition wants to hold back progress, or the cheap publicity, or promoting agendas inimical to our people. Must do so and compensate for their opposition. We have to therefore work harder. There is only one hope for Guyana, and that lies right here in this hall with us. We must continue to battle against the force that could not even pass something as universally popular and needed as the firearm bill earlier this year. That was designed to take off a lot of guns from our streets. We must not only battle, but we must win. And we can win, and we will win. And we will do so because it is putting the people and ourselves first. That is the very principle on which the party is based. So, the opposition will not pass a bill that seeks to control gun violence, but we will continue to push them to do so while employing other means to fight crime. Through our communities and through increased efforts to bolster, improve, and assist the brave men and women in our force, but who put their lives on their line to protect our families and our children, we will find ways, all the ways to support them in fighting the criminals. The government can do some, but it is the party that must do more. I stress here that the People's Progressive Party must be the party of understanding, the party of empathy, the party that shares the pain and the ambitions of the families across Guyana, and indeed of the Guyanese across the world, irrespective of race, creed, and irrespective of their politics. We must stand up, you must stand up, and be the light that the people of Guyana must turn to. Believe me, we will press on with our plans. We will reinforce our principles, and we will renew the people's confidence in us. Comrades, some of you know me very well, and you know that I, like all of you, like all of us, are family people. I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm a father, I'm a friend. And so, whilst we are right to be proud of our projects and our achievements to date, we must never forget that we have to work together so that we can get these off the ground. You know, if I could have one wish in my life, it would be to know that my time spent serving this beautiful country and our party would result in me helping to leave in a place for a better future for my children, for my grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And I suspect the same is true for all of you here in this hall today. So join me Join me in making that wish come true. Let us live the dream that unites us across the ages with Cheli Jagan like the golden thread. We must fight and achieve better health care for our people, better schools for our children, better security for the nation, better electricity, better infrastructure, better jobs, and a better Guyana. This process starts now. It starts today. It starts right here. And thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you very much, comrades. Comrades, just before we close up this opening session, we have a few housekeeping arrangements. One is for our Muslim comrades. Arrangements has been made for those of you, those of us who are fasting. You may join. Comrade Jafar Ali is in charge of this. There's a mosque close by called the Jama Mosque. Transportation is provided for those who want to go there. And we also have facilities right here. A room is provided right here for prayers, etc. Comrades, you're asked to reassemble in the hall no later than 4:15 p.m. Thank you very much.